This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Mission Consistent.
We are at number 17 on the top 250 list. There's less than 20 left to go, guys. What do you think about that?
Wow. I mean, it's kind of sad.
It's kind of sad. We're just going to have to go, watch all the Alien movies in a row after this, maybe.
Yeah, we'll just put some extra in the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
All the Alien movies. Not
That's
just
wild.
the series, but like any movie with an alien in it. We could do something like that. That'll last us a while.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. Was there ever?
Man.
There's never been a TV show around aliens.
Not that I'm aware of.
No, I don't think so.
This week,
All right.
Maybe you
Goodfellas.
should write it, John.
Right.
1990.
No, I'm just
Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
This movie is a movie, and we watched it. And
Yes.
so 20 seconds.
Yeah. Yes.
You can see I'm fully prepared for this episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
man, yeah.
Yes.
That's
yes.
right.
20 seconds. Bring it up. We're going to do a little 20-second
All right, who's going
spoiler-free
first?
reviews. If you
Who's going first?
Johnny or TC is going first. Here we go.
I went first last time.
He's
All
going
right,
first.
I'll go first.
You're up second,
All
John.
right, all right, ready? All
Yeah.
right, here we go. Memorable characters, realistic portrayal of the mob, so I think. There's a lot of camera moves. The soundtrack I kind of like. There's a ton of attention to detail in like the costumes and just sort of that 1950s look. I thought they did a great job of, casting Lady Yoda.
Nice. A little bit
And there
over.
goes the
Some
music.
points taken off for going over by a couple of seconds.
Yeah, went 1 second over, but I was close.
But John, go.
Hard to read my notes and do it at the same
You're
time.
pre-writing your little mini reviews now.
I have to, or I'm not going to make it work. Yeah.
That's cheating. John, go ahead. It's your turn.
No, it's not.
You ready, John? Where's the counter up?
Ready,
so
John?
Try. Yeah.
And 3, 2, 1, go.
Hard to judge the film. I've seen it so many times at this point. It just doesn't feel very original anymore, but it's hard to say why. There's memorable camera scenes, and again, the detail and the camera movement are impressive. And yeah, the story is really great. A lot of that comes from the book, which I read when we get to book.
Nice.
corner.
We got a book corner this week.
Sweet.
Yep.
And there she
that's
plays.
nice. Audience, the reason we're
What's funny is
asking.
that audience will
Yeah,
never hear
there's a
this.
song
but-
that plays you
Oh.
when it's
Yeah.
over, which is good.
That's too bad.
If you
'cause
use Zoom, you might
Yeah.
know already.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm ready.
Denny? All right.
And go.
Whoops. And 3, 2, 1, go.
We got freeze frames. We got classic rock. We got voiceovers. We got dickhead characters. We got such a negative tone that I've never liked this movie, and I don't like it now. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's because I hate all the characters, and I can't even think about anything else in the movie because I'm so angry the entire time I watch this movie. And that might be the point.
Well done.
Well,
And I mean, I agree with you too, because I kept feeling sad, like when it gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and they start killing people off. You're like, nobody deserves this, but that is kind of what the mob used to do, right? Is they would kill people indiscriminately, and I mean, it's
And they suck
viewpoint of
for
what
that.
happened.
They
but-
suck for that. And this movie,
And they suck.
This
And
movie
yeah,
is
I
like
mean,
trying
the
to
fucking
make them more
assholes.
palatable or something. I don't even know what it's trying to do.
I don't know. There's still that's the thing that does start to annoy me. Again, I can sit back and admire the work, or I can even admire Joe Pesci's performance as being the asshole guy. That's again kind of iconic. But yeah, and this film does not stray from the book, hardly at all. Like this is all, and a lot of
The Henry
the
Hill
best
guy
parts of
says
the
this
film-
is 95 to 99% accurate.
Yeah.
To what he
Wow.
went through.
And this is he
Wow.
in the Wikipedia he said he was asked if he saw the film. He's like, nah, because I told him what it was. Yeah. And,
He's like, I don't want to relive this shit again.
Right.
Yeah.
Or not if you haven't seen the film. It's if you read the book, maybe. I can go back to Wikipedia and check. But really all this stuff pretty much it happened. A lot of the really good narration, that's all Henry Hill's words that are in the book. It's not like
Oh, that's kind of cool.
script.
So Scorsese gets a pass with the narrator.
that fuck you, pay me. Some of those great lines. That's all in the book, quoted from Henry Hill himself, pretty much.
Wow.
So it's like
Something that wasn't included is the Joe Pesci scene.
Yeah,
The Joe Pesci
yeah.
scene where
but
he's
it
like,
happened-
funny how.
Right. That was Joe Pesci improvising on when he was a waiter at a club and he was serving a mobster and tried to tell a mobster he was funny, and it didn't go well. It didn't go that badly, but apparently it
didn't go well either.
Or you could go with the story where he overheard mobsters say that to each other. So there's some gray area in like what actually happened there. But Joe Pesci did bring that to the table in terms of the script.
So he brought that. Yeah, I'm surprised, Denny. I thought you might. I've always been the negative Scorsese.
And you're not negative on this one? I'm surprised.
Films.
This one makes me so angry. It's going to be hard to put into words.
I mean, it should. It should. But, you gotta give Leota some credit.
I can't. He's too despicable. I hate watching him. He's not.
The character in itself.
I can't look. Maybe that's good that I can't get beyond the characters in this movie. Maybe that's a good thing.
No, but I think maybe, too, I'm just seeing this in contrast to... Killers of the Flower Moon, The Irishman, where I'm just seeing it not very good. He tried to recreate some of these things.
And the thing is with Killers of the Flower Moon, I was mostly annoyed because I didn't get the character motivations. In this movie, I don't think they acted the motivations. They just literally had a voiceover tell you what people were doing. So like I actually felt like the characters in this were pretty stiff as well. Just because like
really? Because I mean, they still had to make some pretty hard decisions at all times.
Really? They're just like, friggin' steal more shit. Let's go ahead and steal more shit. That sounds fun.
Yeah, but I mean, they had, when you watch your friend kill somebody, I mean, that's a decision that you got to make to stay in it or not, right? I mean,
I don't know. I didn't get any of those motivations. I didn't see them struggling with any of it.
I thought the decisions that the characters had to make were plentiful and they were obvious, but I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what I liked about the story. Because anytime characters have to make decisions, then you've got a good story on your hands. But I do understand what you're saying with some of the exposition in the narration. But
what big decisions do you think are made? Can you give me a couple examples? Because like I didn't see any real decisions on screen being made.
Well, for instance, when they got to go bury a body, because
is there a choice there?
Just
you have to bury the body.
Yeah, the choice is you have to do it, or if you don't, you die. Right, so they have to do
like a pretty easy choice,
and so they go along with it, right? I mean, it's not. Well, I guess
I don't see them struggling with anything. He's just like, I want to be. He's like, since I was a kid, I wanted to be a gangster. This entire movie is me wanting and being a gangster, and that's about as far as my character goes until I'm being faced with death, and the only out I can see is turning on everybody that I said I loved at some point in my life, but I'm really just a shallow piece of shit that'll do whatever because I love having sex with multiple women. I love the high of stealing. I love doing cocaine. I love being a piece of shit human being that makes everyone else's life around me worse. And for some reason, I don't think he's actually. I don't know. I'm ramping myself up.
I mean, I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from.
Wikipedia article says that Scorsese wants you at the end to really hate Henry Hill. I don't think that's what. I don't feel like the movie's trying to do that.
I feel like it makes you hate De Niro.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe De Niro gets sent by the bad guy.
Yeah, really. And Pesci.
Right. But
I hated feel like Leo, the way he treated his wife. And also, but I mean, his wife was, she was a fucking annoying piece of shit too. Like she made some really bad decisions. The fact that she's just like most people would leave, but I love a bloody gun. It really gets me going.
Yeah, and so, I feel like those lines were there for shock value. You know what I mean? Because like they were kind of
those are direct from the book, though. Those again. When you hear the narration of the Henry Hill character and his wife, it's almost word for word what's in the book. And maybe they were
Henry Hill didn't write the book either. And there is
No.
The whole thing where, what was it, Wolf of Wall Street, where the guy in that movie, Jordan, whatever his name was, said the book was true, but then there are some accounts where it's like it's not true. He just wants to, like, he created fiction.
I'm sure they embellish a little
definitely
bit.
That was
It's
the case with it's the case with The Irishman, but Henry Hill did like put away like 33 people were convicted over 5 years of testimony from him. I mean, he really was.
I had a higher number than that
level guy. Was he even
and what
more?
what about the idea that Henry Hill kind of never had a choice in the beginning anyway?
He did.
I guess. As a kid, I mean, not
he
really.
Gone to
right?
school.
He's getting beaten by his dad. He's a part in his surroundings, right?
Yeah.
It's the same idea of like, when things are systemic, right? Like the idea that you're born in a neighborhood where it's all Italian mobsters, like you don't have a choice.
Right.
Well, then the choices you make are based on the situations you end up in, and he made the wrong ones.
That's fine. No.
I can say that for anything. I mean, he had choices.
But, wow.
He could have been I don't know, just somebody who went to school and got beat by his dad. Like, I'm sure more people did that than became a gangster.
Like he says. Yeah.
in that neighborhood, maybe, maybe not.
They were all
questionable,
losers to him.
These are Italian neighborhoods back then where it was still segregated by, type and nationality. I don't know. I mean, I think that, in a way,
it'd still be hard.
It'd be hard to say no.
Yes.
And then it would be hard to make the decision to, when you go to jail, to come out and still say yes, right? But obviously he'd made worse decisions because he had to go get drugs to get payment for his family. And, these people aren't his family. He knows it. So I don't know. I think he's forced into things by circumstance, but he's making decisions based on poor judgment that he's had since he was a kid because he's been
not
taught
forced.
the wrong way.
The whole point of the movie is that this guy is drawn to this lifestyle. He wants to be better than everyone else. He wants to,
as a kid,
as an adult
yeah,
too.
but think about all the kids. Yeah. No, but I know. But as a kid, you're drawn to it, right? Like, and then you end up the adult.
I mean, if your family is miserable and your dad was beating you, and then across the street they're giving you money, they're letting you park cars. You're feeling like you are somebody, and then people start treating you with respect.
And then you have family that you don't have. You know what I mean? I don't know.
You guys are just deconstructing how you become a piece of shit asshole human being. I don't think that's an excuse for being.
We're talking about the character, and the reason why he exists the way that he is.
It's part of it. It's not necessarily. I don't know if how easy it is to say, oh well, I wouldn't have done that or whatever. But I think they do. He also seems to be like, this is kind of who he is. Like, he's just this guy that is hustling all the time. And maybe that's just kind of part of who he was even back then, whether he was in that environment or not. Maybe even if he didn't have the cab stand across the street,
he still would have been an asshole.
He's just a hustling kind of guy, and he would have. It's just. It's not even being an asshole necessarily. It's just always getting. It's always getting the advantage. Always like seeing what you can get out of things. And doing it in a way where he's not necessarily an asshole to other people, so he gets like to fit in everywhere, which again was kind of what was unusual about his case. Like, he's in the middle of everything. That was again what made it so unusual. Like, when he was like, they started to find out all the connections he had, it was really unusual. You either got somebody, you knew somebody way at the top that was really hard to get, or you got these really tiny nobodies that didn't matter, to get somebody that was like so involved with everything. It was just like a Christmas time for the feds when they like started to really be able to figure out all his connections. So there's a lot of unusualness sort of about his particular case. And in this case too, again, unlike The Irishman, there's a lot less controversy over whether these things actually happened, and whether or not, that he really was the person he said he was. His family went through the things that he said he did, the convictions, the people he was working with, the stories he told. Pretty much seemed to be there wasn't. It doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot. I mean, there's not. I don't know. There's not necessarily other mobsters that are around. They're saying, it didn't happen.
I had 50 as the number of convictions. So I mean, at the very least, all the stories surrounding those 50 people is true because they went to prison for it. Some of them until they died. For decades. Yeah. So there's no getting that wrong.
But I mean, I know where you're coming from though, because it's a character that they're trying to say, look, he has morals. Because he's trying to talk De Niro down from killing that guy. He's trying to keep peace and not really be involved with shooting people randomly, right? But he's also beating people up when they touch his wife. He's definitely digging holes and putting bodies in them, right? I mean, so I see where you're coming from. Right. I do. It's but I think when you break it down, that's an interesting character. You're not going to get that kind of character all the time in stories, right? Where they in the morality versus the actions versus sort of this predicament that you're in, all of those things come together and they make a pretty good story. I mean, you can't lie about it. You can't. I think ignore that.
I mean, I typically like movies. There are movies with bad people in them that are. I think the characters are more flushed out and you can like think about them more. Like even Taxi Driver is one of them. And even like Wolf of Wall Street, I think there was more there for that main character. There Will Be Blood, another one. I mean, this one just seems like they never give him like a moment to think. And the only time he ever thinks is when he's trying to figure out how to like steal the next thing or how to get away with something. It's never about like, what am I doing with my life?
Well,
am I a bad person?
His life
Do I love
depends
my
on it. He's
wife?
making decisions because his life depends on it. Like he dies if he doesn't.
Yeah, but that's true. That's true for other people as well in movies about bad people.
I mean,
I didn't see any depth to this guy. He just seems like he's just, I think it's trying to make him sympathetic, but I didn't find it possible to find any sympathy.
I feel like
him.
it was like there's like a sense of like, oh, he's the nice
like
one, or he's the guy that doesn't want to kill people
out of all
or
of
hurt
them.
people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, he has no other than he might, I don't know, maybe he's just a guy that doesn't like direct violence, because he has no problem ruining other people's lives. He has no problem doing these things, burning places down.
Right.
Like they don't show why, but like this cab stand, when he shows him burning up the cars in the book, they describe it better, that there was this guy who was an immigrant that opened up a cab stand down the street and was starting to do well for himself. And so they didn't want that. So that was one of his early big jobs, is he went over and helped burn all their cars. He says no remorse for that.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, that sucks.
Zero. Yeah. And so, but you're right. The film still portrays him as the good guy here.
Or the less bad guy.
The
I
cool
think,
guy.
Yeah.
It's certainly,
Or at the very least, isn't
the
this
less bad
lifestyle
guy.
kind of cool? And a little like, don't you kind of want to be like this? Like, it's trying to show you, like, look at how friendly everyone is. Look at how cool. Even when you go to jail, you get like steaks and shit. That's pretty sweet. You get to sleep with all these women.
It's
that's
the mob.
pretty freaking sweet. You have all this money.
That happens.
It's also the mob, but
I'm not disagreeing with that. I just hate watching it.
But it's also this male fantasy. I don't understand. Like, again, I've said this, but I'm so surprised that you're here with this on this one, Miss Denny.
I'm old now, John.
He had a kid, and he's like, I don't approve.
But that's the idea. It's like, it's like this just feels like this is like a fantasy to indulge in this, like to want to portray this so badly. Why? Like, I guess it's sort of because it's not portrayed with a dark spin. I mean, certainly they're the really bad characters or whatever, like Pesci's character, but it's not. It's portrayed as exciting. It's portrayed, and I guess there's.
It's kind of funny sometimes when he shoots Spider in the foot. Right. He's just like, whatever.
I didn't like that part. I think that's and that's kind of indicative of shitty mobsters with no class, right? And that's what they were.
Right.
Well, no, the ones that have class, they don't shoot anybody.
Yeah.
They have the other people do it.
Yeah, but they still will fuck other people's lives.
It's the mob, guys. We're talking about the mob.
Right. I know. Right.
We're from the Northeast. We should know.
But again,
this is how these assholes were, and they, wreaked havoc in that area for a long, long time.
There's a lot more too in the book about how they would fix.
I'm sure. That's why they mentioned the point shaving before they killed that guy.
Yeah.
As part of that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to say about we watched City of God recently, and not to say that any of those mobsters are any better than these people. They're violent terrorists, basically, but just the attitude that is portrayed in this movie, and to some extent is real, because I think these people kind of they acted like this, they dressed like this. The whole I'm dressing in a suit, I'm like better than everyone because I'll fucking kill you if you disagree with me. Sort of like bullying mentality
pisses you off.
I think the fact that it pisses me off because not only because of the way it's shown in the movie, but I think that this movie is popular in a way that's spawned a lot of TV shows. We have like 27 of the same actors in The Sopranos. We have so many mobster things. We have when Joe Pesci is doing his thing with the shoot, he's like bing bing. That's how fucking Trump
Dude,
talks
I was
about
gonna
gunshots.
say,
And when
by the way,
I see Pesci doing
reminded me of Trump a lot. The way that he speaks.
And I think Trump is copying Pesci from this movie. And I think there are a lot of people that watch this movie and they think it's pretty fucking cool. And I think a lot of the shit happening in the world now is because people are desensitized and they think that this shit is cool.
They do.
Yeah, but
they also think AR-15s are cool, and they sit outside and they shoot cans with them, and then they go to the square and they shoot people. So, I mean, it's just people suck, right? I mean, it's what it is.
And I'm not saying that movies cause violence because violence has been around forever, but there's like an attitude to this of like being proud of this kind of thing.
Right. This glamorizes it. Like again, it
makes sense.
When they got up to commemorate Godfather at the Oscars a couple of years ago, it was sort of overshadowed because Will Smith had just slapped Chris Rock. But
that was funny.
But I forgot who gets up there and says, I know. I forgot who got up there and was like saying that, that to honor the Godfather, it's a film about family and honor. And that is just, it's disgusting. It's disgusting that Scorsese sees this book and he's just like, this is the book I've been waiting my whole life for. He's all excited. This is what he's so excited to make a film about and put so much care and love and detail into it. And it's like, why? What is this? What is this film for? What is this?
He'll say
do?
it's because he loves to study characters that don't get studied very frequently because it's a taboo topic.
And I mean that I don't know, that kind of
the
checks.
mob is not
checks.
though.
That's what he
Don't
says.
forget
It's
this
not.
we're talking
It's probably
about
the
when it
most
came
common-
out. It hadn't been, right? Yeah.
In the 90s? Oh no,
I know,
the
but we hadn't
Godfather
had
was
The Sopranos
huge.
yet. Like
I
we're much further down the
Yes,
line now
yeah.
of mob movies and
Mob movies
yeah.
back, around then still. Like the Godfather kind of had some copycats, but like mostly it was noir type of stuff, or like whereas like
I guess so.
silly type of
Where
stuff.
you're more like the gritty. Well, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Or something like Chinatown, where it's more new. It's not really. It is about the bad guys, but it's about some people trying to fight the bad guys in some ways, or some people with questionable morals, but still trying to be on one side or the other. This has none of that really at all. And so there's no, it's really strange.
And for a movie that is very long, it is paced too quickly. I think
I like the pace.
Some of the heists that's like some of the most important heists they'd montage over and then they tell you.
Yeah, because they're
like,
not
what
that
happens,
important. It's
like,
not
in the
important
voiceover.
to the characters.
You go to
Well,
prison
yeah,
for
but
10
it's not
years.
important-
It's not
That's
important to the
pretty important.
characters
Yeah, I know,
around.
no.
Because don't forget too, I think it's tough to juggle this many characters and have them be anyone near death.
Right, yeah.
And
Right.
I think that you have to sort of cut time sometimes. Otherwise, you're going to end up with fucking the Flower Moon there, and 3 hours later, fucking who cares?
No, who did?
So I don't know.
That's true.
I mean, it's probably also
know.
I don't know how long the book was, but if you try to cram a book into a movie, it's never easy.
Mhm.
No, the book was a reasonable like.
They
but
did a lot of cutting of scenes and
went-
stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, you'd have to. I mean, you could do a whole movie on like one of the heists, or the Lufthansa heist, for example, the biggest heist at the time ever. They could have done a whole
half a sub story,
big 3-hour film on that, right?
They passed over.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure what the
it's-
hell happened during that heist. They skipped, like they didn't show the planning. They had like one conversation with a guy.
Henry wasn't really involved. Henry wasn't really involved in it. Really, more they had to show and describe the heist because they needed to talk about all the killings after it. Yeah,
it was
Why
like
was
it was
Henry
like the
involved in
segue because Henry was in
He
Henry
just-
in jail.
He just wasn't.
Up until that point, he was
No.
like away doing something else. I can't remember.
And he was aware of the heist when he was in the
yeah.
shower and they did it and he was celebrating by himself. I'm
No,
like, why the
he
fuck
was-
wasn't he
yeah.
there? I don't understand.
He wasn't involved in the heist. He wasn't. He may have helped with
Or
some
was he
planning
just
or
because
something
I
around
thought
that lines,
had he not gone to jail yet?
He
Or
wasn't
had he gone
involved
to
in it.
jail?
No, not at that point.
No, he
No,
wasn't
I'm
in
saying
jail
had he
during the
gone
heist.
yet
He
before
wasn't in
or
jail
after?
then.
Yeah, he had the 10-year
Oh.
stint
So
before
I think
the
the
big
problem
heist.
is you're not going to have the guy that just got out of prison involved in the heist that's about to get underway, right?
Oh, I don't,
'Cause he's
I don't
hot.
know. I don't
I
remember
thought they had
that.
every-
He's still
Why?
on the fucking. He's still in. He's government issued
Well,
at this point.
But also Henry wasn't. He wasn't an action guy.
No, he was
wasn't
kind of
the
a
guy to go
cleanup
do the
guy,
robberies
wasn't
and
he?
things like that. He's
Yeah.
more running numbers, running books.
But that's not what the movie
like
showed
taking
either. They
drugs
showed him
around.
stealing shit. They showed him blowing shit up. They showed him burning buildings
But
down.
that's grunt
Like, he
work.
was there
That
for
seems like
murders.
grunt
He just
work.
wasn't.
That's not
That's
heist work. That's not thinking man's work. That's go clean up, go burn this thing down, go carry out the menial task of being an asshole because we're not going to do it and get our hands dirty.
But they showed him there during the planning of this heist. They had him introduce Robert De Niro to the guy that was the security guy at the airport. So like he was in there, like he was the glue.
Yeah.
He like made it happen to a point, right? Like you'd think that he would get at least a finder's fee or some shit like
did.
that. I don't know.
Remember?
Well,
got
he
a
didn't
cut.
because
He
De
got a
Niro-
cut. What do you mean at the end? Yeah.
Did De Niro
David
actually give it to him?
Gets him in the room, and when the other guy's asking for his cut, he goes in and he goes, "This is your cut. Don't spend it all like the rest of them."
Don't remember that part. I don't understand why everyone was such a huge asshole. Didn't they know that Jimmy was a murdering son of a bitch, and yet that guy was still being a dick and yelling at him to go get his shine box? I mean, dude murders left and right. And doesn't everyone know that everyone murders left and right? Like no one's just, people are still just being jerks to each other.
I'm with you there. I don't quite get that.
Yeah.
But that's the Italians. That's what they used to do. I mean,
I don't know. A lot of this in the story is real, but it's like weirdly glamorized where I have a hard time buying any of it being how it actually happened. You know, it kind of is trying to add like a cool factor to it where it's like, that's not, I don't see this actually playing out this way. I don't buy it.
think you're underestimating it. I think
I could be.
I mean, because think even in Rhode Island, right? If you didn't put up the mayor's photo they'd come and fuck your business up. Right? I mean, that happened.
Really?
It was a known thing, right? So you can imagine that those same people that would do that would be in the bar and they'd be running that bar and doing whatever the fuck they want to do because everybody knows, right? So I think it was more of a. I mean, there's a reason why there's a lot of people that say it's realistic. It's not just the Hollywood crowd saying it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I agree, but the way it's done, it didn't pull me in. I've seen gangster movies before where I'm like,
Irish.
this is.
And you know what the Irish used to do? Nothing. They used to keep their mouths shut and they wouldn't act flashy because they were.
I don't know, the
poor and they
Brazilian
were
mobsters
cheap,
in City of God, the European mobsters in Gomorrah. There have been other mobster movies where I'm like, okay, this is real and scary. This is more like
not
these guys are trying to be
Italians
cool.
from Jersey, or they're not Italians from fucking right.
Is that the difference?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
You've seen I mean, look at the Jersey Shore and all those people. You see those people, right? That didn't just come out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, they saw this movie and they tried to mimic it the
they
entire
acted
time.
like that
I
a
think.
long time before this.
Are we getting into sketchy territory here?
I
Yeah,
know.
already
But hey, I
it's
mean,
all
hey,
sketchy.
I'm Irish and Italian. I know, some stuff, but
Yeah, the
I would
Irishman, they
not
acted like this too. I
underestimate
think
how
this is just a
close this was.
Scorsese thing, I think.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh.
This is just a Scorsese thing because they act like this same way in The Irishman, which is not Italian. It's Irish.
Well, no, but you
right?
expect I mean, that's just the continuing. These are like these characters, but older, sort of. You know,
Right.
I don't know.
I think,
Yeah, but
but I'm
they're
just saying, I
Irish,
think
is
it's a
what he's saying.
Scorsese
I guess,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I thought it was,
I like some of the
entertaining.
scenes. I like the way they set up the exposition, the way they introduced you to so many characters. There are a couple of great scenes, like when she's at the wedding and you're just floating through everybody, and everybody's named Polly or Davy or whatever. It's again,
Tommy
if you-
2 times.
if you don't think
That's the
about
best
the
one.
subject matter,
I'm gonna get the
and you're
babies,
not-
get the
you're-
babies.
Yeah, you're not annoyed,
And you
about
never
how
see him
awful it is.
again.
And you
Not
never
once,
see him
ever
again.
again.
No,
Right.
you never
That's
have
right.
to because he's
But,
irrelevant.
But
No,
again,
much like the rest of
the
them.
camera work and the coordination's pretty awesome. And the same thing with the nightclub scene in particular. The nightclub scene coming through, going through the back, coming around, coming in through, the coordination of that scene is pretty spectacular. And the way that everybody has to be moving and know what they're supposed to do. Meanwhile, the camera is moving through. It's some pretty awesome scenes, I thought. I mean, it's really kind of jarring at the end stuff. And it's like this in the book too, like how they describe his day when he gets caught. Nothing has to do really with him getting caught. Like it's not like all these different things he did led up to him getting caught in front of his house.
Was
So
it
just
the helicopter not chasing him around?
Not really, but it just seems like
Was
a
it the phone
jumbled
call
mess.
that got him caught?
He was
from his
he was
babysitter?
he was being wired and tapped for a long time. They just happened to do it that day. It's not like even in the book, but for some reason the book does this too. They like describe him what he did day to day, but they'd been tapping his phones for months at that point and following him for months.
But he never makes the call from inside the house.
It doesn't matter.
And then
No,
the
no, no.
babysitter
He's-
did the
he's
one
like-
time, right?
I don't know. Maybe, but it just seems like that whole sequence was weird because it felt like they're trying to build some tension, but it didn't really go anywhere. It really was just like, I don't know why they wanted to do that. I got to make the pasta. I got to do this. And it's like, I don't know. Seeing that
I kind of
multiple
wanted
times,
to eat
it's like,
pasta after
it's
this
kinda strange.
movie.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know about you
Yeah, yeah.
guys, but when they were sitting at, what's his
slicing
name's
up the
house,
garlic?
and they're
That
eating,
was-
and they're
that
eating
was the-
mom's dinner, I
Oh,
was like,
well-
man, I could go for some pasta. And
Right,
some,
the
some
Scor-
bread.
Dude, Deniro was putting
Scorsese's
ketchup
mom.
on his freaking spaghetti. Did you see that? He picked
I
up a
don't
bottle
get
of
that.
Heinz and he shook ketchup onto the plate. What the
What?
hell's going
Did
on?
he? Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
notice that.
There's actually they talked about it a lot. He grabs the Heinz bottles between his fists and rolls it like he's rolling a piece of dough to get the ketchup out. And he did that because that was one of the things that Henry Hill said. Like he was asking questions. How did Henry Hill dump his ketchup out? Because this is the kind of character work he was looking to get into.
Why would they
you
be
gotta like
using
really
ketchup
make a
on
good
his
You
portion.
portion?
really
of this
got to
guy.
get in. That's right.
Yeah,
Whatever.
and this
Yeah.
guy did that with his ketchup like nobody else in the world.
I
So
guess, whatever.
important to capture that in the film.
That is good. Way to go. That's very method.
Yeah,
He's not even playing
it
that
is.
character, but he's a character that knows that character. So
That's
it's really
right.
important.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I can see those are some positive aspects. I like the soundtrack too, but again, it's where you're gonna go wrong with some of those good Rolling Stones tunes.
Yeah, I
Um,
know. I mean, really.
The use
it's
of
just
the
like
Layla
movies
and,
just
part
look
intro,
good
or
to the
whatever it
Stones,
is.
don't they?
Yeah,
They just
yeah.
do.
Well, especially they're kind of gritty too, and yeah.
And it's also because Scorsese has the song in his mind when he's writing the script. He would actually just write the name of the song in the script next to the part, and he would he write it in there because he's thinking about the scene and he's editing it in his mind while he's writing the script, and then he shoots it for the edit, and then they edit to the song.
Nice,
and it just works out. Yep.
Pretty good.
Because he started as an editor, you know.
Yeah,
that's what he thinks about.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but you got to get the footage. They said that a lot of students will watch this and the teachers would be like, you know, he started as an editor. So the reason he's so good is because he's good at editing. But then like everyone goes off and just tries to get shit footage and they try to make it good. It's like, no. Everything else needs to be good too.
He's like setting it all up.
Right.
You know, he's like,
he just understands the tempo
editing.
and the pacing. And
he's got the full picture before he starts rolling, which is always a good idea in whatever way you can do it.
Although I don't know, maybe he just got old because lately I'm not into it.
Yeah, I think it's well said, TC. Because I don't know. I prefer.
Also,
I prefer
always
the
pretended
Deadpool
like I liked
dance
this.
scene to bye.
The editing there, yeah.
That was far more entertaining. But
I never outwardly said my dislike for this movie, but listening to John over the past 6 or 7 years, however long it's been, talk about how Scorsese just how he's sick of
he's ruined you, Denny.
Good movies about bad people, sort of thing. It's really got me thinking, and it just really hit me hard with that one scene where he's going bing bing.
Yeah,
once
you have a kid,
all of this.
That's it.
That's true. It does change things a little when you think about it.
I have to say, though, I felt, thinking, just watching that dynamic between him and his wife and thinking about, my girlfriend and like I could never do that to her. You know what I mean? So it's like I was getting disappointed by just some of that as well. And they try to act like, oh, well, he's using coke. But like he was a prick to his wife the whole time. Yeah. Right?
Yep.
So
there were no rules for him.
Those were disappointing moments.
The only rules were what he needed to do to be, to advance. And,
that's true.
And he also, again, didn't want to hurt people he didn't have to hurt, I guess.
What a good guy.
That going for him.
Yeah.
But that was about it. But again, I feel like, it's when, if you want to sit and think about that and how this movie still, there's a gleefulness, there's an excitement about this film that is really kind of upsetting. And again, you're right. I mean, I'm like soft on it at this point, just because I've been trying to temper my annoyance.
And just trying to think of, speaking about being old, and how some old people, they get older.
Danny.
Some people get older and they say like, we should stop people from watching this because it turns them this way, sort of thing. I've never believed that, and I still don't. I think what's getting me now is that I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing how many people watch this and think this is cool and fun, and then start to replicate some of the things they see because that's how they naturally
not
are.
Even cool and fun, but there's some kind of there's some kind of morality to this. Not only is it cool and fun, but there's something that you could feel like you've got honor or some kind of shit, and that's really just really upsetting. That's what you could take away from this. Like, oh yeah, not only is this fun and you get to do whatever you want, but you get to have some kind of morality. You get to feel like you're some kind of I don't know, like. So
I think I found it. I'm actually not mad at this movie. This movie is kind of amazing because it helps you realize that a large part of humanity sucks ass, and the way human brains work suck because we're drawn to this type of shit, this evil, inconsiderate, selfish shit. And that's not the fault.
And also, right? You're also a product of your circumstance and what you've been normalized to, right? I mean, you can imagine that in some of the projects of New York City, right? There's a lot of people that think selling dope is a normal part of life, right? And then you get into that life and it gets worse and worse and worse. Yeah. And they've never known anything different. So I think it's also touching on the fact that, not only is it people are inherently bad when they are, able to make greedy moves, but that's also that like when you're stuck into a circumstance and you don't have the right people showing you the better way, you don't take the right choice. You don't take the right road.
Also, if you're in a place where there are no consequences. So like if you can take what you want and get what you want, and instead of, if anything, you're rewarded for it, well, there's a lot of people. I mean, look at how people are on the internet. Like, look at how the people are.
Oh, I know. That's a good point.
When there's no consequence for saying the things, whatever you might want to say, and or even like certain, the goalposts have been moved pretty far. So on certain networks now, people can call it news and say pretty awful things and encourage racism and encourage misogyny and get away with it because now they're not suffering consequences for it.
No, in fact, they're getting paid for it.
Right. In fact, that's the draw, right? Again, a Nightcrawler kind of thing, right? That's actually, in fact, quite the opposite, right? It's what gives you your clicks or your views. And so it's pretty upsetting.
All right. I don't understand why they killed a lot of the people. Why did they kill Mari? He didn't just want to pay people. Once they stole the money, he just didn't want to give the guy money.
He kind of makes a statement about that, right? Like he'd rather die than turn over the money to the people that did the stealing.
Jimmy just started to feel
that
like
was
it
the
was
line, I think.
Yeah, he felt like it was his money. The film makes more of a big deal about Jimmy getting pissed about them buying stuff. Jimmy it didn't really cover that in the book. Really, it seemed to me more like Jimmy just felt like this was his money. Some of the killing started though. Stax had to die because he left the truck. He
almost got caught.
Well, yeah, he left the truck there, and then if they got to Stax, they could get together people. So if people were making mistakes, that became an excuse for killing them too, because they never got them for the Lufthansa. Then
he just got paranoid, right? I mean, that's all that really happened.
But
paranoid and greedy. That's what happened.
Even Henry Hill, they still had it so clean that Henry Hill didn't. That they were never. Even Jimmy wasn't prosecuted for the Lufthansa heist. Everybody knew they did it. Like within 2 days, everybody knew who did it, but they couldn't get the evidence. They couldn't really pinpoint the people. And it's because there was like only one guy could have like traced them back to Jimmy. And that guy got killed pretty early on.
Oh, he got killed. That's for sure.
So, so it's sort of
what I didn't get for that heist as well in the movie. They didn't tell you who was in the heist.
Right.
So when they stabbed that dude in the back of the neck because he wanted his money, I was like, wait, the other guy in the car, it's not Joe Pesci and not De Niro. Was he in the heist? Shouldn't he be worried? He didn't get his money.
It was kind of hard to follow,
isn't he going to be next?
Yeah.
Like, what is he doing?
He was in the freezer.
He was in the freezer truck. But I mean, what was he doing in the car then? Was he not afraid?
They're friends at that point.
No, but Jimmy would decide. That was like the point would be like, they would decide who would kill. But that was the way it always was. Like if like Jimmy said, all right, we're going to kill this guy. And it's like, all right. And they're just not necessarily worried because they're being told. And even Henry wasn't sure he was going to get killed for quite a while that until, and as part of, they don't show this as much, but they ended up having, because of wiretaps, they were getting some recordings of people saying that they were going to kill him. And then that helped him turn. But they played it up.
Did
he
direct his wife to go down into an abandoned shopping center with no lights on and two sketchy guys laying down plastic tarps?
That happened from her. She describes it.
Did he really think she was going to walk into that place?
Yeah, that seems like a really stupid thing, but yeah, he didn't. Yeah, that's almost exactly what happened, at least according to her story from the book, that he was setting her up.
Well, congratulations. She's not a total idiot. Yeah, good job.
But it does seem a pretty stupid thing. It's hard to imagine because there's so many easier ways to just walk up and kill somebody. Why do you need to go direct them? Say, go 3 blocks that way and keep going.
I mean, you gotta, I mean, imagine that these people are basically psychopaths.
Yeah, go in there.
Right.
Just go in there.
I mean, like, none of this is going to be logical or make any sense to anyone that doesn't kill people.
Yeah, but they were successful at it. They have to be somewhat good at it and logical about it to be so successful for so long.
I don't know, because I think the people they killed, for the most part, nobody was looking for them. And the people they would get killed with, they knew to keep their mouths shut because they could be next. So I think there was such fear.
That was just a different kind of setup to be killed, though. All the other kills were quick and violent. Like just like,
and sneaky,
you sit in the car,
little screwdriver in the back
talking
of
the head.
Jeez, dude, that sucked. I mean, what a way to go. And all he wanted was the money he was due.
I know. I didn't get it. Just give the guy some money.
And they act like they have so much. What's the problem? But they didn't, I think, is really what it comes down to.
I was confused because I didn't get more in the movie that De Niro was going to keep the money because that's just what he was going to do. I didn't get that through watching this movie. John, you're saying there's a line where
he talks about it. At least Henry in the book is describing that
but not
Jimmy,
in the movie,
right? But Jimmy in the book, Jimmy was just he considered it his money. He felt like it was his operation.
So what this movie does, and watching the commentary track, they point at it to how they're supposed to be conveying that in the movie. There's a scene where Joe Pesci is in the bar with Robert De Niro, and De Niro makes his eyebrows go up after they talked about the money, just generally like giving people their money back. He raises his eyebrows and he gives a look, and that's supposed to convey that his plan is to keep the money. And even watching it with them pointing at it, I don't see it. I don't know what they're thinking.
I don't know if that landed.
Yeah. I would doubt anybody that would watch the movie, literally 0%, I think, would understand that's what he was trying to convey then. Because they did not.
They should have done a narration.
Yeah, seriously, use the freaking narration.
As you can see, Jimmy's going to take the money.
Yeah, it just freeze frame. You freeze frame on the eyebrows up. You just freeze frame right there.
Right,
Jimmy wasn't going to give him the money. Jimmy thought it was his money.
Yeah, Jimmy doesn't play nice. Jimmy doesn't give the money. Jimmy takes the money. Yeah, right.
Come on, you've already freeze framed it 13 times.
You know what I will say about this movie? I think this might be the last time I watch it. Because I have to say, I've watched it too many times in my life at this point, where like there is no need. I remembered almost every scene, and I will not be sitting there again being like, let's watch Goodfellas.
I got the Blu-ray because I always do, because Netflix is closed down and I need them for the commentaries. This is the first time ever I'm going to turn around and sell this on eBay just to get it out of the house, because I'm not going to watch it.
We don't want any kids falling on this. We don't want them to see it by accident.
I'll keep my horror movie collection right in the bottom row, right for the little kids to watch.
No Goodfellas.
You guys want to watch Aliens? You want Aliens again?
Yeah.
Hey, Alien's not a bad first R-rated movie to show somebody.
Right, we'll put it on outside on the big screen. Let's watch it again.
That's right.
They love the intermittent screaming in the projector movies in the backyard.
Yeah, they do.
It's funny.
The dogs love it too next door.
Did you notice they went to Bova's in this movie, or they were going to go to Bova's? They were talking about Bova's. Remember Bova's?
No.
Bova's is that bakery in Boston that is open 24/7. It's on... what's the name of that street? Should have been. It's the one north of North Avenue.
Couldn't tell you.
You guys have never been to that?
I don't think so.
No, not North Avenue. It's been a while since I've lived in the North End. But I used to go there all the time because I lived in the North End for a year, and I had friends that lived in the North End after that. It was on Salem Street, north.
What
of
a great place to live for a year.
It was pretty awesome. And I didn't have any friends there. It was the very first year I lived in Boston. So there were like a couple months where I didn't have anybody else. So I just literally go out to eat. And it was my first job. So I had money. I didn't know how to spend it. So I just went out to eat Italian food at different Italian restaurants every single night.
So you were a mobster, is what you're saying.
I was a mobster.
Yeah, you
Some
went
of those places were run by mobs, dude.
You went to go collect the money, is what you're saying. I get it.
Some of those places
you hate
had
on
bouncers.
this movie because you're a gangster.
This is all.
I
can't have pasta
It's
anymore.
It's a diversion.
Yes.
Right.
I never went to Bova's. That place was great. You go out like drinking in downtown Boston, and then Bova's is 24/7. You go there at 4:00 in the morning. It was packed. You get slices of pizza.
Cool.
But apparently it's apparently a landmark because they were talking about it before they went into the car and stabbed Mari in the back of the head. They were like, let's go to Bova's 24/7. Yeah, it's good. They have all this pastries. They have all that stuff. That's what they were talking about.
I see.
And I was like, I get it, guys. How did Joe Pesci know he was going to die? When he walks into the room, he's like, fuck, and then he gets shot.
Because they said he was going to go meet people to do something.
Nobody there.
There's nobody there.
Basement.
Okay.
There's nobody there. There's just,
That was confusing.
Yeah.
Am I an idiot?
No. I think you probably just dislike the movie so much you stop paying attention.
You can be both. You can be both confused. It can be confusing and you're an idiot. I mean,
yeah.
No,
it's hard to determine if you're a permanent idiot if you're just confused the one time.
No, they show him the room, and the room is, for some reason I used to think too there was like plastic on the floor, and that's how he knew. But I didn't see the plastic this time. For some reason I put that inserted it that there was like plastic on the floor. I inserted
something there too, John. I thought there were like oranges somewhere, but I didn't see oranges anywhere.
Why would there be?
Because isn't orange like a Godfather thing?
Oh, I guess so, but he plays with the kids with an orange in his mouth. That's all I know about Godfather and the oranges.
I thought there was like a bowl of oranges and then someone gets shot. And I thought that's what happened in this one, but I didn't see any oranges on the table. I thought there was
plastic on the floor because then they don't have to clean, it's easy to clean up the mess. But
we're creating false memories.
Yeah,
good for us.
Happens.
Yeah. So what was the I need my hat thing? So he's like, that doesn't even matter in the movie either, right? The babysitter's like, I need my lucky hat, and they leave to get her hat early, but the cops are outside anyway. They could have left later.
It doesn't matter. I know. The whole sequence is weird. they're creating all this tension, but they just get picked up right outside the house anyway, which was going to happen no matter what they did that day. So none of
except
that,
for the babysitter phone call, perhaps.
Maybe, but none of that matters. I don't think, at least in the book.
He gets mad about it in the movie. I thought he was mad about it because he's like, she still made the fucking phone. How would he know she made the phone call in the house if it wasn't, if it didn't lead to the arrest?
We're led to believe that that's what leads to the arrest. That's like, okay, we got enough. Now we're going to move right after this phone call.
Right.
But again, they had hours and hours and hours of tapes. So it
wasn't as hard as, it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Here's a note. He's mad at her for flushing it all down the toilet. I fucking hate this asshole. He comes home and she's trying to like save the family and stuff, and he's screaming at her because she flushes it down.
He's an addict at that point.
Yeah,
too.
Well, he's also has no money. They're broke. They don't.
I just hate him so much.
Yeah.
I want to punch him.
Welcome to seedy living, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically all I got for the movie. You guys got anything else before we do some commentary stuff?
No,
I don't think so. I was surprised. Like I thought, I liked this movie when I was a lot younger. This was a pretty cool movie. When it came out, I think I was in a much different mindset. I was not old and grouchy.
right.
But yeah, it's kind of disappointing.
And now here we are, 20 to go, and old and tired and grouchy, and not wanting to watch things that affect the family because you start to make one and you don't like it.
Also you just see again. It's hard right now. There's a certain large percentage of the population here that seems to think it's great if that the most important thing is being an asshole and not being accountable. That's
looking
like the
pretty
value.
And getting some sort of brand deal rather than studying and reading.
Right. So
how old do I sound now? Goddamn kids.
Right. So it just kind of, I think that's also
job.
kind of an upset.
Get a job, learn something, would you?
Yeah.
Have you taught your kids the wonders of Instagram yet, John? You better get them on that thing early if they're going to stand a chance with all those other influencers out there, man.
That's right.
It's
we're
it's a
training them
cutthroat
up
business.
on that. We already. I know. We've been training them up on. We teach them. Some of your first words. Make sure some of your first kids' words are
TikTok. She
not
baby
TikTok.
said TikTok.
Oh no! Like, rate, and subscribe. Like, rate, and subscribe.
5 stars.
That's what it should be.
Right. Exactly.
How do you even raise kids? How are we supposed to know how to raise kids in this freaking world? There's so much new shit
You don't
going
give
on.
them a phone until they're 18.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
All right, the commentary track.
All right, let's
there
go.
were 2. One of them had Henry Hill on it. I didn't listen to that one because I don't care to listen to criminals that come out of isolation because they see how famous they could be. And when a movie comes out and their name is famous, they're like, "Ooh, I want some fame!"
Well,
and they come out of witness protection.
Everybody that could have gotten him was dead. Jimmy had died.
It's not entirely true.
No, Jimmy incarcerated? Jimmy was still in prison.
Jimmy was incarcerated until he died in '96.
Yeah.
But there were other people that were out. They couldn't pinpoint exactly why he wasn't hit, and it was mostly because he was no longer an obscure character, and they would have. They would have
brought a lot of heat on themselves, I guess, too.
Right. Plus, that whole network of people was gone. Like they weren't protecting a style of life anymore because it had been destroyed by 1990. Right. This ended. They said in like the early 60s, the mob life was like basically gone because they were taking them all down.
Yeah.
So there wasn't anything to protect. So they just kind of let him live. He died in 2012 from natural causes.
Yeah,
so
like heart condition or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had 22 years out in the world saying, "Hey, look at how cool of a gangster murderer I am." And he like written down, he in this movie they show him not killing people because he supposedly didn't kill anybody. But he went on the Howard Stern show and bragged about killing 3 people and how he could talk about it because he has full immunity. So he could be making it up.
Great. That's a good reason to talk
I
about it.
Yeah. And he's the one that told the story that became the book. And so if he wanted to
how do you
make
trust
himself,
these fucking assholes with that stuff, right?
Yeah.
You can't just write a factual book that the person writes without like, I don't know. There probably was some backup. Was there a bibliography at the end of this book, John, or was it just straight from his mouth?
No, straight from his mouth. But what you had was straight from his mouth, and then you get that what you had as far as the actual things is what happened in the criminal trials and what came out in the criminal trials.
So all he had to do was embellish all the lies around the true events in the trials.
Yep.
That doesn't seem
Right,
so hard.
He could certainly have done that, or at the very least, too. I mean, again, it's done. It's not done in an insanely direct way, but that he's the nice one. Oh, he's the guy that cares about this. Oh, Tommy shot the guy. I felt bad for him, or that sort of thing. So he can portray himself as the nice guy still. But then he's still just very
a load of bullshit. That is.
Again, I can jump to like some of the notes from the book too. Even like the author at the end in an afterword. So this was written after the movie came out, and the author of the book in an afterword describes how Henry Hill had no remorse. There was no remorse to turn on, no hesitation in turning on his friends. No hesitation or anything like that. Like he went to, they went out to dinner and he just picked up the author with the new girl. And he's like, "But you're married." He's like, "Yeah, but this is under my new name." And then they went to a restaurant and he walked out for a second. The author did. He came back and the waiter was down on the floor bleeding because Henry had hit him over the head with a wine bottle. And Henry's like, let's go. Come on. Again, no big deal. Just like, yeah, good. No, the cops aren't going to show up. Let's go to another restaurant though. So they went to another restaurant. But just this casual, he was not like a nice guy. And he did not, he seemed to have like no sense of remorse or anything for hurting people either. So it was, yeah.
So he's a real piece of work, this guy.
He's a good egg, guys. He didn't want to kill people. He had
Nick Pigelli was the writer of the book, and he helped co-write the screenplay. Yeah. Him and Scorsese, he wanted, Nick, I'll just call him Nick because his last name is hard to pronounce, wanted Scorsese to direct this. As soon as he wrote the book, it became a bestseller, and offers were coming in. But this guy wanted Scorsese to do it, and Scorsese was busy directing Color of Money, so they got in contact with each other, saying like, one of them, he got the book to Scorsese. Scorsese called him saying, "I want to do this, but I'm busy." And the other guy said, "I'll wait." And he talked to his agent, and his agent was like, "You're fucking crazy waiting on this. You have all these offers coming in." He's like, "I'm going to wait until he's ready." So he did. And they both, Scorsese and Nick, wrote the screenplay together, and they were having a hard time coming up with like how a through line that made it a movie, basically, because apparently the book is just a series of events. In movies, you need kind of more than just a series of events. Mm-hmm. And what they both did is they separated after doing they did drafts together and wrote together for a while. They decided they were going to split, edit down from the book what they thought would be the scenes they would want to include in the movie. And they did it separately. And when they came back with like nearly the exact set of scenes as each other. So then they just were like, all right, perfect. This has to be it if we came to the same conclusion. And then they just started working on those scenes
Stitching
together.
them together, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how that kind of
it's hard
worked
to. I mean, the book. It's really hard after seeing the movie several times, then to read the book to not see the book is actually following a pretty coherent line and arc. Like early on, it's the mob, gets to be good at the mob, goes to jail, big heist, people start dying, he starts to lose it, and, then he turns everybody in. That seems like a good enough line, I guess. So I didn't, but again, it's hard.
Can't get distracted with side stories, I guess. It all has to be like relevant to the final decline of everything.
Yeah, because you can go off. They go off again in the detail of the basketball games getting fixed, or this happened, or these other. I mean, there are many like where they just go into more detail about all the different things that he was doing, which is kind of insane. Like all the different scams, and everywhere he went, he would like even in prison, or then there was a whole time where he spent out of prison. He got to go on this work farm outside of the prison, and he had all kinds of different scams going there. And so again, just more detail on that stuff. Anywhere he went, he was like always like grifting, always like setting things up. Yeah,
even in the prison, he's like selling things to people in the prison to make a living.
Yeah.
Didn't quite understand what was going on there, but still grifting.
Selling drugs.
Or hustling would be the better word, I guess.
Definitely.
Is that's what she was bringing in?
Yeah, that's why he told him not to do that when he got out, because he had heard that he was selling drugs in prison.
Oh, I thought his wife was baking little coffee cakes for everyone in prison, and they were charging an arm and a leg because they were so good.
It's coke.
Ah, shit. Another scene I didn't understand. Fucking tricked by a coffee cake once again.
Yeah.
So the Copacabana is a real place. Martin Scorsese had his prom there, so he loves it. It's like one of his favorite places, so he knew he wanted to shoot scenes in there. They had to, and they did, they shot it in the real place. They had to redesign the kitchen, and they had to build that corridor that comes from the outside into the building that didn't exist. But they knew they wanted a side entrance.
Also, the Wikipedia said they weren't allowed to go in the front for some reason. I don't know why. That they had to like shoot from the back scene because too they weren't going to be allowed to come right in the front entrance for some reason.
Interesting. They didn't mention that, but I don't doubt it was a factor. They shot it 8 times, that single long shot, the famous one. It didn't even take all day. They got other shots that day. So 8 shots is not that bad. Most of them were pretty good. Although there were 2 shots when that comedian at the end forgot his line. They did the whole thing. They sit down. Everyone does it right. They pan over to the comedian to do the last thing of the shot. The guy's like, line. I forgot my line.
Oh, Jesus. Brutal.
2 of the 8 shots.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he was an old guy then too. Like he was who was it? What was his name? He's an actual comedian, wasn't he?
Yeah, they said his name, but he didn't care to write it down.
Famous. Anyway, so
I never heard of him.
But yeah, that's got to be amazing.
He's a hack.
It's not George Carlin, I can tell you that much.
I mean, you think this guy, you're sitting there, you're going through this, I don't know what, like 8-minute, 12-minute shot, whatever. You got the camera, you're going through that. You just like, all right, we got to move over here. He's moving, the waiter's going there, and then you get to the.
Do you ever get like that?
It's
I mean, some people get stage fright, right? I mean, if it's a comedian, you shouldn't really have that. But I've done presentations before where I get so choked up when it's my turn to go that I had the entire thing memorized, but I can't remember the first word. It's like all I need to do is remember the first couple of words, and I'm off and running. But then I just freeze up. I'm like, what's the first word? I can't remember
Denny.
the first word.
You just had to say your name, Denny. That's all it was. Yeah.
I can't remember. Fuck.
I can't remember.
So maybe it was that. I don't know. It is probably a lot of pressure with like all the extras and stuff. Who knows? Ray Liotta basically did a tryout for this movie for 9 months. Scorsese really liked him, but the main producer on it didn't like him because Ray Liotta was 35 years old, playing a 21-year-old for the most of the movie, and he was also an unknown guy. So the producer didn't see Liotta as mostly being able to play young. It was his biggest concern, and then the secondary one was he's not going to draw anybody in.
Wow.
But,
boy, was
Scorsese
he wrong.
liked him a lot. Boy, was he wrong. The reason, TC will love this, is classic Hollywood story.
Oh,
they were
boy.
eating at a restaurant. The producer and Liotta saw the producer, walked over to him, told him he really wanted to be in the movie, and then just asked him to like give him a couple minutes of his time, and he allowed it. The producer liked the fact that he had the balls to come over and talk to him. The guy was really thought highly of himself. Everybody, like the commentary didn't help with this because everyone was just like, movie's a masterpiece, Marty's a genius, every actor's a genius, every decision, genius, best movie ever made. And that's how everyone talked about it. So it's kind of hard to like just get pelted with that when you disagree with something. You're like,
well, it's not hard. You have to remember that they're all full of shit and it doesn't matter. Right.
Yeah. And a lot of people agree with him though. I mean, I think it helps sell the movie over a long period of time too.
Yeah, they do.
But after the meeting, he convinced him that he could play young and he was cast. So
I mean, I didn't notice an age. I didn't even think about it. It didn't occur
either.
to me. Yeah.
He seemed younger than
He seemed younger than the rest of them, and that's all that
'cause
mattered.
Does he have like acne scarring on his face?
Yeah.
Because it
think
kind of
so.
makes him look like an older teenager a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
when he was
Yeah.
at this age, at least. So maybe that helped.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
And some eyeliner,
Yeah.
I think, too.
Oh yeah, always with the eyeliner. That's for sure. We probably talked about this before, but Scorsese's directing style is very friendly and subtle. He'll do a scene and he'll go over to like individual actors, pull them aside, and like very quietly tell them just like a few words of direction. He's like, try to just be a little bit more angry when you walk in, okay? And
That's
then
what
just walk away.
I want you to
Do
do.
that.
What I want you to do is I want you to go in there and I want you to blink. I want you to just blink, and that's
Yeah.
it. That's all I want you to do.
Too many
All right?
words.
There you go.
He'd give him
Yeah.
less words than that. It sounds like he would very quickly, in between takes, just give everyone a little bit of direction privately, so like it wasn't a whole thing of like this guy's fucking it up or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he'd roll again, and he'd also like take comments from people if they think it should be done a different way. He would listen to literally everyone and it would encourage it, and he would consider it all. He wouldn't just like say that's a stupid fucking idea. He's just like, oh, let's and then like talk through it, like, I think that might not work because we're trying to get here for the direction. And then if the actors disagreed, he would argue with them. But they would eventually get to like an understanding. He would never be like, I'm the director, shut the fuck up, we're doing it my way, sort of thing. So people like him because of that. They feel like the actors feel like they have, they feel good about their performances afterwards because they felt like they had a say, sort of thing. So isn't that nice, guys? I like that.
Sure.
People like him.
They used a lot of non-actors in a lot of the scenes. Any of the scenes where you see just random mobsters like playing cards, drinking in bars, stuff like that. They're just non-actor people in there. They wanted to get some realism. The scene where Joe Pesci was just like, funny how, that scene.
Yeah.
That was they didn't tell the extras that was happening. So all the extras' reactions were real.
Yeah.
To like, is this guy really just pissed off? Because they thought it was an improvised scene, and Joe Pesci was acting all pissed off and stuff. So their reactions were real.
Nice.
Whatever that's worth. The kid who played the young kid Spider did his own stunts, and the one time he fell backwards after getting shot in the chest, the second time when he got killed, he flew back into the bar and smashed his head and got like knocked out. They thought he had died. They had a hard time getting him back to life.
Oh my God.
But he had to go to the hospital, and he had cut his hands, and he was like, not okay. But that shot is in the movie because it was the one take they got.
That was what he was actually hurt?
He was hurt. He had to go to the hospital.
Got knocked out.
Get out of here.
Yeah. He committed, did his own stunt.
That's right.
Damn.
The commentary ended at 1 hour and 15 minutes into this 2.5 hour long movie. And I was very confused because they just stopped talking. But then it started again at 1 hour and 36 minutes.
Oh.
So for 21 minutes,
break.
they just stopped talking.
Really?
It was one of the commentaries where it was like
That's
a guy
weird.
taking clips from people. So it was like a lot of people in the commentary, but it was just clips. It would be he'd be like Martin Scorsese, and then Scorsese would be like, Martin Scorsese, and he'd be like Ray Liotta, and you're like, hey, Ray Liotta over here, and it was kind of like that.
Oh, I mean,
all
that
they did
could
was
be
say
good,
their names
I guess.
over and over again.
I don't know.
The shot of the camera moving into the refrigerator truck started off on a crane, and then the camera operator walked into the truck, kind of like grabbed the camera and moved on in there to get the close up. Kind of cool.
Yeah,
very elaborate. The voiceover was done in either 1 or 2 days. Ray Liotta couldn't remember after the filming of the movie. And at that point, he had been smoking real cigarettes the entire shoot because he wanted to, look authentic when he was smoking them. His voice was all gravelly and stuff. So I think that aided. He thinks it aided to the performance. But also when he was filming it, he had like memorized the script. So, and the script apparently moved pretty closely with the edit. And he knew what he'd be saying in the voiceover when he was filming a scene. So he like used that voiceover to help him like act
know
that
what
way
he's doing
in the scene.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that was just
That's
him.
cool.
Scorsese wasn't like, your voiceover is going to say this on the day of. He
Right.
just like
He
memorized the
just figured
script.
it out so that he would be aware. Yeah. That's pro. Yeah.
It probably helped his performance there.
Yeah, definitely.
3 to 4 months of shooting, and he was smoking real cigarettes all the time. He wasn't a smoker. He picked it up for the movie.
And then he stayed with it because like wasn't he in that like anti-tobacco or like whatever the pill was, the Citrix or I can't remember, but he was a spokesperson for not smoking.
And what did he die of? Was it lung cancer, was it?
It's a good question. Let me look it up. I'm not sure. But
did
that's
Goodfellas kill Ray Liotta? Let's figure this out. It's like Stalker all over again, just slower into one person.
Yeah, he did. He had respiratory failure and a heart failure. So,
maybe. Shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, it's
dying
not
for
funny,
the authenticity. It is crazy. Also, they wanted to use real money for all the 20s in the pockets because that was Robert De Niro's idea because he wanted it to feel authentic in his hand. And one of the people on the set was like responsible for the $5,000 in cash that they had. And in between every single take they did the money stuff with, he'd have to go and count all of the money. Every single take he'd have to count it. Because otherwise people would fucking steal the money.
Right.
And then I should probably say her name. Lorraine Bracco, who plays Karen. She saw all the money stuff, was jealous, and was like, I want real jewelry because I want it to feel real too. And they gave her some real stuff to work with.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you got to listen to the actors, man. They know what's important.
The sarcasm in that was real. Yeah.
Glad you picked up on it. The kids in, and I guess all of the kids scenes where there's two kids, those are actually Lorraine Bracco's kids.
Oh.
And they had kids in the script to play those two kids, and her kids just lined up with the ages pretty nicely. And she kind of asked Scorsese for them to come because she wasn't seeing them because she was filming the movie. So she was kind of like, I want to see my kids. Can they play this part? So
worked out.
That's there. And also the mom is Scorsese's mom.
Pesci's mom is
Pesci's
Tommy's mom is Scorsese's mom.
In reality,
And
it's Scorsese's mom.
Right, and she's ad-lib.
Wow.
Like a lot of those lines are improvised, right?
They said nearly those entire scenes with her were improvised.
I mean, I
They do
kind
have
of. How
stuff-
funny was the painting? You see, has he told you about my painting? And then she just lifts it up out of nowhere like she's had it the whole time. I thought that was funny.
It's cute.
Yeah.
The dog's going both ways. Yeah, the dog going one way, the dog's going the other way. Yeah. It's funny. It's funny. Yeah, right.
Why don't you see anybody? I see lots of people, Mom.
I see him every night, Mom. I see him fine. Shit was good. I mean, that was funny. That whole scene.
I thought that was cute. She was very cute in that scene.
Yeah, she was.
That's all I can say. Lots of the clothing was real. Lots of the mannerisms were real. A lot of the studying to authenticate the characters was how people did things, how they stood, what they smoked, how they smoked it, how they held the cigarette, how frequently they inhaled. All of that type of like very granular physical action type of stuff was like really, they put a lot of focus into that for some reason because they figured it would, that's the stuff you see, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, but usually you don't hear that, right? Usually it's like, what makes this guy tick? I want to get inside this guy's mind. And De Niro's like, how does this guy hold his ketchup? How frequently does he puff his cigarette? I need to know these things.
Right.
Well, they're not saying a lot too, right? I mean, they're acting, and they're getting mad.
They're acting.
Whatever. No. I mean, they're moving, and they're getting mad or something. But there's not like a whole lot of talking where they're talking about how they're feeling or describing themselves. So what else do you got? It's just like you're going to be watching them drinking, or as the camera's moving around them, or as there's some narration going. So it kind of makes sense that you'd probably want to make sure you really get that stuff right too, because they're not saying a lot. I did like the scene where Tony's just like talking about his favorite bakery, the French baguette. Actually, I think he does do that. I was trying to be sarcastic, but I think they do talk about that a bit. Yeah, they don't talk about themselves at all. What else we got? They wanted to use Frank Sinatra's version of the song My Way at the end for the credit sequence, but Sinatra would not hand over the rights to it for this movie.
Wow.
So they went with the Sid Vicious version of the same song.
Which is terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, very
really
odd
bad.
credit song.
Even for a Sid Vicious song, it's really, really bad.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
You shitting on the Sex Pistols over there? How dare you?
Let's see. I'm not saying that right. It's just it's a very bad punk version, is what I mean. Like,
I like punk a lot, and that song did not
that's what
make
I'm
me want
trying
to look
say.
up the album.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
not shitting on the Sex Pistols. Punk's great, but this should have.
Sid Vicious solo stuff does not count as anything.
So. Yeah, theoretically, the idea of a punk version of My Way would be kind of nice, but it sounded terrible.
So this movie broke the record at the time for the most uses of the word fuck at 321 times in the entire movie. Nice. That is just over 2 times a minute.
Jesus.
Most of them were from Joe Pesci. And it broke the record of the previous movie the year before, Do the Right Thing, 240 times. Right. So quite a bit more. 80 more times than that movie.
Does that record still hold? Do you know?
No. So it is now the 22nd highest.
Whoa.
I have the list pulled up here. Number 1 was like some movie about, like, the number 1 and number 2 were like movies about the word fuck. So that doesn't really
that doesn't count. That isn't fair.
Number 1 is called Swear Net the movie. Number 2 is called Fuck the documentary. And then number 3 is Wolf of Wall Street. It's got 569 instances
Holy shit.
in the movie.
That's a lot of fucks. I'm sorry.
It is, and it doesn't seem like that much. It seems kind of natural.
I don't remember Wolf of Wall Street having that many, but yeah.
Uncut Gems is number 4 at 560. Only 9 less than Wolf of Wall Street with like an hour less runtime.
That was a great movie. I liked Uncut Gems.
I need to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this list is pretty funny though. Yeah, as soon as Goodfellas came out, it seems like a whole bunch more movies are just like, we got to swear a lot more, guys.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. What else we got? Al Pacino would turn down the role of Jimmy because he didn't want to get typecast as a mobster, and then went ahead and accepted the role as whatever his name was in that Dick Tracy movie that came out in 1990. The Mobster, the most cartoonish mobster ever.
Well, at least it's cartoonish.
Was he Flathead? Was that his name?
I don't remember.
Don't know. Never saw that film. Don't want
you
to
didn't?
see it. No.
I saw that when I was like,
Madonna and Warren Beatty, right? I mean,
I saw that. I must have been 6 or 7 years old when I saw that movie because I saw it in the theaters and it came out in 1990. Good times.
Oh, yeah.
2 more. The witness protection negotiator in the movie, his name is Edward McDonald, and he was actually the witness protection guy that dealt with Henry Hill when he was going into witness protection. So, something there. And I already did the last one, so that's the last piece of trivia, guys. Top 250. What do you think?
I tend to think yes.
it's hard to say no. I don't like it.
Into
but
the
I can
mic, John.
appreciate it. I'm sorry. I'm mumble. Sorry. Thank you. It's hard to say no. I think his film's been very influential, and I'd say so.
I don't know. It is influential, but I don't like it how it's influential. But it still is influential.
For the
So I don't
audience
know.
out there, you should have seen his face while he paused.
I
he's
don't
torn.
know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That might be the first I don't know.
Yeah. Can't
Give
deny
him
its
an I don't know.
influence.
Yeah.
Can't deny some of its craft.
No.
But if you're just blinded with
And
anger
some
that
of
it
the,
gives you, it's
and
hard
some
to
of the, like,
even
it's
judge
hard to
it.
like
Pesci-
it and say
yeah.
yes. Right.
Yeah.
Pesci's character, it's pretty iconic. Like that. Yeah, I don't know.
It's got some one-liners that were in songs, and
Leota's
and,
character and the narration is also pretty iconic. And so
there's a lot this movie's done for culture in a way that's not good, but
maybe. But yes,
it did influence things that it's hard to deny.
I'm gonna go no. Fuck it.
do it. I support you
Take
in
it
your
off.
no.
Well done, Denny.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You couldn't convince me.
Yeah. No
None of
matter
those are good
what,
enough reasons.
it's
to.
a no. Right.
I think that's good. It's a
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Is that going to be the highest no for me? Only time will tell. A short amount of time.
Our last Scorsese film.
Well, that's
Scorsese.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that.
I am too.
Yeah. You guys looking for a used copy of the Blu-ray? it's for cheap on eBay right now.
Hey, it's going up today. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank
Check
you.
out Den Ken Zero on eBay if you're looking for a used copy, guys. I'm going to
You're gonna
push some
get-
Yeah,
used
maybe
Blu-rays
might-
on this podcast.
Yeah.
You talk to him nice, he might pay you.
Yeah.
Just get it out of my house, please.
If you see him at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Are we? I don't know what we're going to do. Are we going to watch either One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is the next list movie,
that's a great one.
or Alien Romulus is coming out this week.
Yeah. Getting decent
and
reviews.
The reviews came out today. It's getting really good reviews. I don't know how much we're gonna be able to talk about it because I think it's like a horror movie. But
That's all right. We'll do a 30-minute, episode and see what happens. I'm down to go to the theaters for that, even though it's going to be gruesome.
Yeah.
John, what do you think?
Sure. I don't know. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And
All right.
depending on when we record it, and depending on how many episodes The Matrix is, it may get confused. So if you're following, go to the website. The website's always accurate. Don't always follow what we say at the end of these episodes.
That's true. Things might shuffle
We
around.
get screwed up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't forget
All right,
to
boys.
like, rate, and subscribe.
There you go. That was John's first
There you
words.
go. All right.
Like,
see
rate,
you later.
subscribe. Like, rate, subscribe.
Later.
All right.